Hey Gordon, what do you think we should cook today?
How about smoky, delicious, crispy skin pork belly?
Not a bad idea. Let's get into it.
Before we do, a little anatomy lesson.
The pork belly comes from, surprise, surprise, the belly of the pork, hence the name. And this might actually look familiar because it's the same cut as
bacon,
except that
bacon.
has been cured and smoked. Now, if you imagine this was still attached to the full pig, this is where the spare ribs are going to sit.
In fact, this pork belly still has the spare ribs attached, so we're just going to carefully cut those off, keeping as close to the bone as possible.
As you can see, it's an extremely fatty cut of meat, which is actually good because fat is flavor. Now, when it comes to seasoning a pork belly, you can season the bottom and the sides just like normal. You do want to leave that top alone for now. Now, pork, especially cuts like the pork belly and the loin, have a more natural, subtle flavor that makes them great for absorbing different flavors. So don't be afraid to experiment a little bit more when it comes to your rubs here. Today, I'm going to be using a honey sriracha rub, sweet and spicy, just like me. When it comes to getting that super crispy skin on the pork belly, you want to draw as much moisture out of the skin as possible before the cooking process. And there's nothing better to draw out moisture than salt. A lot of salt.
After assaulting this pork belly, we're going to let it brine in the fridge for 2 days.
And with the magic of editing, I'm back in 2 to 3 seconds for you. The salt has really done its job in taking out a lot of the moisture of the skin there. Skin is a little bit harder, but this salt is really wet. Just trying to remove as much moisture from the skin as possible. And if you have a thermometer, you're going to want to put it through the thickest part of the meat, which I think for us is kind of right here. I'm going to pop that bad boy in right there.
Nice. My life's
You will never get this. You will never get this.
And now it's time to go and cook her up.
Now, we still want to draw as much moisture out of the skin as possible during the cooking process, so we're going to put as much salt as we can on the top of that pork belly. And please do not be lenient. You can never have too much salt on top of the pork belly. We're cooking it low and slow over some applewood today, keeping the temperatures anywhere from 225 to 250 degrees Fahrenheit until we hit an internal temperature of around 185 degrees.
And now, while we wait for our pork belly to cook, we're going to make some gochujang sauce. Gochujang? Gochujang. Gochujang. We're going to make some
gochujang
sauce.
Gochujang sauce is quite spicy, so we're going to try and kill some of that spice with a little bit of sweetness. I think this is going to pair really nicely with that honey sriracha rub that we put on our ribs and belly. Well, there's no way to know for sure until we get to our taste test. After a couple of hours, I wiped the salt off to reveal a much darker and harder skin. This is exactly what we're looking for. You can actually save this salt if you like as well. Apple smoked salt slaps on potato fries. At this point, the ribs were also done, so I did take those off, slice them up, and we had a little bit of a treat to enjoy while we waited for that pork belly. Despite not having much meat on these did come out super tender and delicious. Once the internal temp has been hit, it's time to get that dry skin to crisp all the way up. Now, usually I would do this by just flipping the belly over in the kettle so that the skin is directly under the hot charcoal, but since the kettle's been going for around 4 hours at this point, I didn't have a lot of heat coming off it anymore, so I decided to transfer it into the oven to broil instead. And 15 minutes later, here's the result. I mean, just listen to this. Now, it's probably not the most pretty pork belly I've ever made, but the juices coming out of this thing were absolutely incredible. It was gushing with flavor. And now for the moment you've all been waiting for.
The mochi taste test. Mochi! Ooh, you want it, don't you? Wait. Ooh, what do you think of this one? You want a nut? Oh, mochi! You like that one, don't you? Let me have another one. Ooh, you hear the crunch? You love it, don't you? Yes. Daddy treats you well. Now that that's out of the way, let's try it with the gochujang sauce. I'm never going to say that right. Pork belly sauce. Not too spicy, not too sweet. This adds just that extra little bit of kick that you want. All right, well, there is the crispy skin pork belly on the web kettle. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.